So you've just bought a Gen 4 swinging spare wheel carrier. This is how you fit it. Your vehicle will have a 2-inch hitch receiver installed, and this is where we will mount our product to. So when you receive your Gen 4 swing carrier, it'll come in either 1 or 2 boxes, and everything you need to install and assemble the product will be in there, including all of the hardware, the lower assembly, the swing arm, and if you've opted for any accessories like the number plate relocation system, just make sure you go through the whole box and make sure we haven't left anything out in the shipping process. So we're going to start off with the lower assembly. This is what mounts directly into the vehicle, and it's got 3 points of adjustment. So we recommend purchasing our anti-rattle mechanism with your carrier, and this will essentially remove any of the rattle or wobble from mounting our product directly into your tow hitch. After mounting the product in your hitch receiver, a little tip is just to keep this level as you're doing these next steps, or you'll sort of bind up the assembly as you're working. What you want to do is get the anti-rattle mechanism with the high tensile M16 threaded bolt, and basically insert that into our product and push it all the way down until it's in line with the hitch pin position. And we're basically bolting the carrier to your tow bar using this assembly. When installing the anti-rattle mechanism, try and go from the opposite side that your trailer plug's on so that you've got plenty of clearance to insert this bolt. You'll notice that all of this play is removed once this is tight. We also want to install our U-bolt clamping mechanism that'll get rid of any additional little bits of play that are still present. Make sure you install a spring washer with this so it doesn't come loose over corrugations. And then with a 19mm spanner, tighten one side and then tighten the other side, and just do this incrementally until it's completely tight. Once you've tightened the anti-rattle mechanism, make sure that you retain it with an additional nut and washer on the opposite side. Do that up tight and you're good to go. You'll notice that with both of these arrangements tight, there is absolutely no movement between our horizontal sort of lower assembly and the vehicle. It's essentially fused to the tow bar and there's absolutely no rattle. So the next step is to join the swing arm to the assembly. You want to put one nylon washer on the top face, and then our M16 bolt is going to act as our pivot point. Essentially insert this just like so, line it up with the bolt, push that through, that'll now be supported. And then the other 2 washers you want to put on the bottom face. You might need a second pair of hands to do this. I've just had a fair bit of practice. You'll notice that bolt goes all the way through, and then you can nut and washer on the bottom. Now with our 24mm spanners, it's very important that you tighten all of the play out of the pivot point. And you'll be able to see that you're doing that by having a look between these washers and just notice if there's any light still showing. But you want to tighten this pretty significantly. It'll start going tight. You just want to apply a bit of force and then feel for any play. And you can see in that there's no play. There are 4 screws that secure the latch into the swing arm. You want to do these up, not tight at this stage, but be well there. This last screw just below the cutout is actually acting as our pivot point for the quick release mechanism. Quick little tip when installing the quick release mechanism is use your 2 fingers on either side of that lever to make sure that it's straight as you're tightening that final screw. You want to apply a little bit of pressure down as you're tightening to make sure that it seats correctly. We're going to be mounting the spring with this M10 set screw through that threaded hole there. Pull the lever backwards and actually hook it just like that. This is going to basically bring the quick release mechanism back to its closed stage, ready for use. With our 19mm spanners, you want to mount the striker like so. We're not using any washers here, and you just want to do this up tight. If you find when you're closing it that it doesn't latch as nicely as that, you want to undo these 4 screws, which will allow the latch to move side to side, slam it closed, and then tighten the screws, and that will reposition the latch into the correct position. Once you've mounted the latch and striker mechanism, be sure to adjust this rubber packer as needed and mount it directly to the swing arm. When spaced correctly, this ensures that there's no vibration within our completed assembly whatsoever. So we're now going to mount the gas strut, and to do this you want to make sure that you open the swing arm to about 170, 180 degrees, almost straight, and that'll allow the strut to mount in its full extension. So these are done with a 12mm spanner, and you want to have a nut underneath there just to give yourself a bit of clearance from this pivot bolt. You go to put the actual strut onto it. The gas strut has little retaining clips. There's a little hole in the ball end there that you just want to make sure, push it through and then clip it over. And you'll notice as we come to here, you just want to swing the carrier open until that's at the correct position to allow for that gas strut to join. Once you've got the swing arm fully assembled, you now want to install the stopping bolts into one of these 3 positions, which will determine how far the carrier can swing open for use on a wide range of vehicles. Now with the swing arm completely assembled and working, we'll start mounting the tyre. To secure the wheel mount, you've got a welded bolt and then a secondary hole for another M12 bolt. You want to position this on the tyre carrier, usually in the highest position to give you the most amount of departure angle. In this case, we'll fit it to that position for this Subaru. These carriers will mount up to a 35, 36-inch tyre on a wide range of vehicles. All right, so now we're ready to mount the full-size spare tyre. We're going to grab it out of the back, get started. Just insert it into the top, onto the top stud, and then it'll come with, for a 5 stud, you've got 2 other mounting bolts, and it comes with stud nuts ready to go. Basically just want to tighten that stud nut. We use a locking nut that we sell as well over that bolt. Just make sure before you fully tighten that you actually knock the center cap out, which I haven't done, as you'll need to do that to mount the number plate bracket. Now with the center cap removed, you've got access there to mount the number plate relocation bracket. For these, you want to use a 22mm socket on the back and a 19mm on the front. Just make sure you got those two tools handy when you're doing this bit. All right, the last step is to relocate your number plate onto the spare wheel carrier. And this is important to do as it's a legal requirement because you're going to be blocking the number plate on your actual vehicle. So you just want to insert this into the tyre bracket, and then there's a grub screw on the side that you'll tighten to get rid of that play. You can mount your number plate and then you're completely compliant. So our number plate relocation bracket is universal in all states, and it will also allow for the temporary number plates or auxiliary number plates that you can purchase from the DOT or your local government essentially. We've also got a lighting harness that your product should come with, or you can purchase from our web store, and that'll basically allow for a light to be mounted above the number plate, and then you have a harness that you run down the carrier into your trailer plug that'll make sure that that number plate is illuminated and you remain compliant. So there are 3 things that you guys need to make sure you're doing. You've got to make sure the pivot point's tight, you've got to make sure that the hitch assembly is tight, you're using the anti-rattle mechanism, and you've got to make sure that the latch is assembled correctly to allow for smooth operation. As long as you're doing those 3 things, you'll have no problems with this product and you'll be able to use it for years.